Hello everybody, welcome to the Planet FPL Gameweek 8 Deadline stream, and it's live. My name's James, and for the next hour and a bit I'll be trying to answer as many of your dilemmas as possible ahead of the Gameweek 8 Deadline. Before I do, let me take you through the graphics that you'll see on the screen because that may answer many of your questions. Firstly, bottom right hand corner of the screen, my top 10 captaincy picks for the game week in order of preference. If you've got Mo Salah, don't overthink it unless we hear some dodgy team news in the next hour is my suggestion. Below me, benching dilemmas screen. You'll see 5 pages worth of benching dilemmas, and either or, the player with the tick is the recommended player, and they are in order from left to right across the 5 pages. Page 5 is for goalkeepers. I'm going to read them all out to you now. I would go Tony over Wood, Wood over Sarr, Sarr over Rafinha, Rafinha over Mbeumo, Mbeumo over Smith Rowe, Smith Rowe over Decore, Decore over Shaw, Shaw over Duffy, Duffy over Livramento, Livramento over Gallagher, Gallagher over Traore, Traore over White, White over Reguilon, Reguilon over Manquillo, Manquillo over Marcel, Marcel over Pinnock. And for the keepers, I would go Martinez over Sanchez, Sanchez over Ramsdale, Ramsdale over Meslier, Meslier over Raya. To the left of me, you'll see the schedule for the week and my correct score predictions for all 10 games. And right at the bottom on the ticker, you'll see fixture guide for the next 5 fixtures for all 20 clubs. Shout out as ever to my man on the graphics, FPL Captain. That's Captain with a K. Go and give him a follow on Twitter. He basically does the graphics for everybody's deadline streams. And to the top right hand corner, you will see my team locked in for the game week, unless there's some dodgy Liverpool news in the next hour. You will see on the screen that Antonio Rudiger is in my team. No, I don't think he's going to play. Yes, I know he's injured, but it would be dumb for me to put him on the bench just in case there's a 0.00001% chance that he might play. I mean, imagine I put him on the bench and actually suddenly, his back's recovered. He's in the Chelsea team. I know, it would be surprising, but I think it's the right thing to do. I've taken a -4, 2 defensive transfers gone. A Luke Ayling and Luke Shaw. I've got a problem with Luke's this week, obviously. In Artino Livramento, who I assume obviously comes in for Rudiger. And Cancelo is in. The only coverage I've got is Matt Lowton. Rafinha starts, quite simply for me. Again, if I put him on the bench and he was suddenly in that Leeds team, I'd be like, oh my God, what have I done? So, do you know what? If they'd have played Tuesday, Wednesday night, there's every chance he could have got benched anyway. So he's in the team, but I'm not expecting him to start. I line up with Sarr, Cancelo, let's assume Livramento, Tierney, Salah captain, Greenwood, Rafinha, Jota, Harvey Barnes, Lukaku, Vice. Should there be some dodgy Salah news, that's where I'll go. I'll just stick it on Lukaku. And Antonio up front has said the only coverage I've really got on the bench, therefore, is Matt Lowton. Right, let's get into the questions and help you with as many of these dilemmas as possible. If I answer something that sounds like it kind of answers your question, please do the courtesy of deleting it. It will be so much appreciated. And for anything that I just covered, send people to the first 3 minutes. Love it. Please at the people if you're responding to their questions. Sheila Gerard is first. Shaw and Ronaldo to Lukaku and Cancelo with 2 free transfers. Or Shaw to Christensen and roll the second free transfer. I'm going to guess you can't just go Shaw to Cancelo. I would go with the plan and go Lukaku and Cancelo. I don't think there's any need to move Ronaldo to Lukaku this week. I actually think he's a slightly better choice for the captaincy than Lukaku because I think Leicester Manchester United is likely to be quite high scoring. But if it allows you to Cancelo, then yes. Obviously, if you can just get to Shaw to Cancelo and the 1 free transfer, I'd do that and roll. Mohammed says, good morning, James. All the best for game week 8. Thanks. Appreciate that, Mohammed. Good luck. Warnock says, best Torres replacements. Yeah, that was a bit of a turn up for those on Wildcards, wasn't it? Ferran Torres out for 2 to 3 months. Best replacements. Difficult one, because I think a lot of the players that would be interested, like Mbeumo, you probably want to go to next week. I wouldn't be keen on Mason Mount, if that's affordable particularly. I think the likes of Jota, Greenwood, they're obviously more expensive, slightly gone. So I think you're coming down in value. And honestly, I would probably just go to Mbeumo because that's my planned transfer for next week. So I'd probably just get on with that rather than kind of leave the problem for next week. That would be my thinking. Oberizzi, Martin CMJ says, hi James, Rudiger and Jota to Cancelo and Saka from -4. Good long-term fixtures for both. Well, if you're thinking long-term, that's absolutely fine. But then you can make a case that if Rudiger's back next week, he's got good fixtures as well. I mean, certainly the next 3, Norwich, Newcastle, Burnley. Such a shame that many press conferences yesterday were dominated by the Newcastle takeover, and I do understand why, but very difficult when Thomas Tuchel says, hey, do you know what, Antonio Rudiger's injured, and no one actually says, yeah, boss, how long for, mate? And on that, the reason to remove Luke Shaw rather than Rudiger for myself was I came to the conclusion that if I moved Rudiger, I'd still be taking a -4 next week to remove Luke Shaw for Cancelo. Cancelo's got the better fixture now. I mean, there's obviously a chance he can't play. I know the script and the gamble when you buy Manchester City players. But obviously, if Rudiger is back, I'm not taking a -4 next week. If he's still out, I am taking a -4 next week. But it just meant that actually keeping Rudiger this week was possibly saving me 4 points next week. In terms of your transfer, Rudiger and Jota, Cancelo and Saka. I will only say yes if we get the thumbs up that Jota's not playing. There is some rumour circulating at the moment Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain is going to be in the Liverpool team, which will probably suggest that it won't be 4-2-3-1, as I suggested on my stream yesterday that I thought it could be. Therefore, probably would still be a 4-3-3. Therefore, there's obviously a possibility that Jota could miss out. If you get the thumbs up that Jota's not starting, then it's a definite yes. I would not be keen to sell him if he's in that starting lineup against Watford, personally. Oh, fuck it. You said long term. Live a little. Hamish Holmes says, morning, Chief. Would you be tempted by Rudiger to Aspi for a -4? Bench cover is Sissoko or Williams? Shudder, since Liverpool will come in for Rafinha. Well, I'm guessing that Rafinha's possibly going to partake in the game, even if it's a one-pointer. Therefore, Livramento gives you the cover. I would say no. I would say no, actually. I wouldn't. FPL Dougal, morning Jimbo. Which Chelsea defender under 6 million would you want to punt on Wildcard? James, Chile, Christensen, or play safe with Rudiger and bench him this week? If you're on Wildcard, I don't think you buy Rudiger. I don't think so. You look elsewhere. Personally, if it was me, I'd go Christensen. I'd just go Christensen and I think suffer it. And I would fix in a plan where he was my 4th defender and I was looking to play 4-4-2 or 4-3-3 every week, but have a very, very strong first sub. Someone in kind of the Mbuemo, Smith Rowe, Decore range, something like that. I'm not keen on these Chelsea wing-backs. I think Chilwell will play today. I think Reece James will probably play as well. I'm just not keen on it. I'm not keen on it. I spoke about this in length on my stream yesterday. I think Chelsea's the one where I'd want the security of the starts. Liverpool and Man City are the ones where I want the fullbacks. Pavanar said, hey James, on a wild card, which looks better? Mahrez, Foden, Watkins or Mahrez? Oh my God. Mahrez, Foden, Watkins or Mahrez, Trossard, Timo. Mahrez a 1 week punt. Trossard gets benched after Norwich for me. Thanks. I absolutely do not understand your question. But Mahrez, yes, great 1 week punt. Trossard, yes, you could bench the next 2 game weeks, although that's a very expensive player to be benching. Sam Holden said, hey James, content always excellent, but this week top tier. Appreciate it. Congrats. Question, what is your favourite FPL asset you can remember? For me, Jimenez, 18-19 at 5.5. Harry Kane at, was it 5 million in 14-15? I mean, I wouldn't even own him because I refuse to have Spurs players, but that's the one. Alfredo Demetrius, son to Nicolas Pepe and Antonio to Neil Maupay. Why do you think Nicolas Pepe is going to start, mate? Why are Arsenal going to change that attacking team from the Tottenham and the Brighton games? Don't want to sell Antonio. Although, as I said on our Patreon podcast yesterday, I'm now possibly looking at moving Antonio on in Gameweek 11. Is my possible thinking. Maupay, you're going to get him in this week. Brilliant. What are you doing next week with Man City and Liverpool afterwards? It's a no from me. Therese Keeve says, hi James, good luck this week and to you too. Joe Gifford, hi James, wildcard this week. Thoughts on Mahrez 1 week punt? Yep, like it as a 1 week punt. Alternatives, Mount this week rather than next. In other words, does Mahrez outscore Mount by 4 points this week, assuming transfer is worth 4 points? I'd do it, yeah. If you're very happy with the rest of your setup, Joe, yeah, I would get Mahrez in for 1 week. I'd take the chance. I'd take the chance, personally. Esan says, another question. I've no City defenders and plan to get one this week, but because of Rafinha, my bench is thin. Get Diaz for safety or Cancelo for the long run despite the risk. Thanks. I prefer Cancelo, personally. And personally, I'd prefer Laporte over Diaz, which I know is against most people's thinking. But I think at the moment, Laporte's first choice. And I don't really think there's an argument about it. And I think he's worth the saving. Declan Burns says, hi James, would you take a -4 to take out Shaw, Barnes for Cancelo, midfielder under 6.5? And which midfielder? You're just looking to take a -4 basically to get Cancelo, aren't you? Therefore, I'm going to say no. Jonathan says, hi James, is Armstrong from Southampton worth a go for a few weeks, then move to Tony Gameweek 10-11? Thanks, mate. Have a good weekend. Yeah, don't hate it. Che Adams injured, which is helpful from that perspective. Leeds, Burnley, Watford, next 3. Yep, I don't mind that as a move, but I would say I think Tony's good fixtures start from 9. I wouldn't be worrying about Leicester at home and Burnley away. 3-3 Marson. Hi James, who will be the biggest signing for Newcastle in the next 12 months and why? Hamza Chowdhury, because they tried to buy him in the summer. No, seriously. I'll throw a name out there. Rafinha. 3-3 Marson. Hi James, who will be... That's the question I've just done. Hamish Holmes, Sky question. Rudiger and Rafinha have to stay, right? Might have been different if there was a gooner I really wanted in those positions. Yeah, I'm keeping him. I mean, I think Rafinha probably gets on the pitch today, albeit I think as a substitute. Rudiger, I mean, if you sell him and he plays next week, it's a mistake. I haven't got the information. We might get the information after the game today. In which case we can act upon it if something comes out. Oh, Rudiger's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. And act on it for tomorrow or for Monday. So actually, if I heard after the game today, look, Rudiger's out 2-3 weeks, I'd be pretty gutted because I would have wanted to just switch to Azpilicueta today. But it might be then that I would actually go back and consider an Arsenal player. Gavin Welsh, hi James, what makes you an expert at FPL? I am fucking not an expert, mate. You want expert opinion, go and watch Andy's stream. Or go and watch Harry at FPL Tips' stream. I am not an expert. I detest the word. I can talk a good game of football. I'm not a great FPL manager. I'm not an expert. Hate the word. Laxman says, it's Gameweek 8 deadline stream and it's live. Cue music, man. Ciao, bye. Rishi says, hi James. Which City mid you reckon will start this game week? I'm currently on Wildcard and torn between Foden, Gundogan, Grealish. Recommend going back listening to Clash of the Correspondents from Thursday with Johnny Pringle. He spoke at the time about the fact that Sterling could play up front rather than Ferran Torres before we knew about the injury. He also spoke about his thinking that Grealish could be the one that's in line for a few rests now. I think today, personally, they'll go Foden left, Mahrez right, Sterling up front. That's my guess. Gundogan, no, I think Bernardo Silva's playing too well at the moment. So from your 3, would have to be Foden. Nicola Torco, hey James, is it confirmed Sonny, who's out with COVID, asking for a friend? You're asking for yourself, Nicola. No, it's not confirmed, but yes, I'm sure everybody on Twitter has probably seen this, but large rumours going around last night, well actually confirmed rumours that 2 Tottenham players have contracted COVID and they're going to have to isolate and miss not only this game week, but also game week 9 as well. It is thought that those players are Heung-min Son and Brian Hill. So you have Heung-min Son, move it. Get rid of it. -4 it out. Do what you got to do. Dan Stairs says, morning legend. Apologies as I know a lot may ask this, but Chilwell or Christensen to replace Rudiger would be a -4. My other defenders are TAA, Cancelo, Semedo, Livramento. Good luck. I want to say, Dan, none of them. You're not desperate for a Chelsea defender this week. Just think about this logically, right? No Rudiger, no Thiago Silva. Now, I think Chelsea will probably win 1-0 today. But I've seen a lot of Chelsea fans not confident going into today now. So if you got a good bench, Dan, you don't want to be taking a -4 if Rudiger's back next week. You have 4 other good players. 1 in, 1 go. Laporte or Walker. Cheers, James. Laporte. Christopher Nesvik. Decore or Saka. If Saka's affordable, I think timing's quite nice with Palace, Villa, Watford, Newcastle all at home in 4 of the next 6. I think Saka's a decent buy at the moment. Tiffy Ferrero, why you did -4, bro? Your rank will go down because of the hit. Really? Oh my god, I thought it was going to go up. JM said, hi James, I'm taking my nan down the swimming pools later. Fancy coming along, we can get chips and sausage rolls after. I'm going to be honest with you, that's better than the gym after I had last week, mate. Yeah, DM me, mate. Jasim Jazz and Buemo or Duffy to start. I would start Mbeumo, mate. It's on the bench in dilemmas. And Mbeumo is listed 5th, Duffy 9th. So, look, it's quite close between the two of them. But, yeah, I'd go Mbeumo, mate. OOP, up front. Andy P says, good morning, James. Hope you're well. A Sky question. I've no Villa coverage, but have Palace. Do I use Rudiger as a way of covering, or is he too good to move off? Thanks. And food luck. Great stream as always. Food luck to you too, Andy. Have you got an Arsenal player? That's critical to that question, Andy. If you've got an Arsenal player, I would say definitely keep. If not, look, you could use the Villa player to do it. But I wouldn't be keen on Villa defensive players, and I wouldn't be keen on any of Villa's midfielders. The only outfield player of Villa in Sky I'd be interested in is Ollie Watkins. And the entry point, as I said, there is another one to cover the Southampton game, which is when they play West Ham in a couple of weeks. So I'm going to say no. But I need to know if you've got an Arsenal player, Andy. Philip Sukta, hi James, thanks for the content. Why do you think Walker is ignored in the discussion about City defenders? Just 5.5 and probably just below Diaz in terms of nailed-onness. Can I be honest with you? I think if Walker and Laporte played all 38 games, I think Laporte gets more attacking returns than Walker. Honestly, that's why I think. Jock says, morning, hello, Anthony Hobbs, Son Tamara's worth it for captain, no Liverpool. I don't hate that. But make sure your vice is someone who's nailed. We're talking kind of Ronaldo levels of nailed here. Stefan B, hi, morning. Which would be your preference out of these options? Foden or Mount, Armstrong or Hwang? Foden and Armstrong for me. I know a lot of people are very big on Hwang. My take on it is he scored 2 goals against Newcastle. Whoopie-doo. Armstrong admittedly hasn't done anything against anyone, but those next 3 fixtures we already spoke about for Southampton, really nice. You've got Norwich away 2 after that as well, so it's a really nice 5 for Southampton. Hwang could easily lose his spot very quickly. He could lose it today. Could be Podence and Traore for all we know. And I look at Armstrong and I think that's a lot more nailed at the moment, I would have thought. Armstrong, personally. Brian Lloyd, morning James. Who do you think is the best option, Laporte or Walker? I feel like I've already done that. Philip says, hi James, love your work. Have 2 FTs thinking about either Shaw, Greenwood to Cancelo, Saka, or just Shaw to Walker. Can't afford Cancelo. And roll the other FT. Thoughts? I don't mind that. Rolling the other FT, mate. I also don't mind moving Greenwood to Saka, although I think Greenwood could do quite well today. But Saka's got a good fixture as well. Do you know what? I'd go the extra for Cancelo. And 2 free transfers, yeah, get it done. Static says, hope you and the family are well. We are, thank you, mate. Hope yours are too. Garang Barot, when Rudiger will be fit, keeper or sailing? Well, I've kept him, mate, and I've already covered this. Lee Jackson, morning, mate. Best hangover cures? Carry on drinking, mate. Static said, play King or Livramento? I'll play Josh King, mate. Sadnik says, is Laporte a viable option if you can't get to Cancelo or Diaz? Yes, he is, in my opinion. Jock says, Morpay a good 1 week punt. Change to Tony next week. Any confirmation on James starting? I would think Reece James plays, but no, there's no confirmation. It's 6 hours before they play the game. Yes, I think Neil Morpay is a very good 1 week punt. Lomba Neto, Hwang or Chi Hee Hwang or Hwang Hee Chan. He played with Erling Haaland and Takumi Minamono in Red Bull Salzburg and beat Liverpool Anfield in the UEFA Champions League. Another big whoop. Did they beat Anfield? Liverpool at Anfield? I don't feel like they did. I feel like they were 3-0 down and got it back to 3-3 and lost 4-3, I think. Someone will confirm that for me in the chat. Can we just go with Hwang will do. Avi says, hi James, Grealish or Foden? It's a definite Foden for me. FPL telling Josh, morning James. If we get news Jota isn't starting, would you still play or should I bench Sarr over him and bench Jota? Also have Rafinha in the equation. Well, I'd put Sarr ahead of Rafinha. That's what I would go with that. Jota, Sarr, Rafinha. I think with what you've got there is probably the best play. If Jota's not in the team, he's not in the team. I'm not doing anything about it, personally. He might do damage in half hour today. Lewis H says, hi James, who would be your number 1 goalkeeper pick if you were on Wildcard this week? Looking at either 4.5, 4.6 million. Thanks for the great content. Personally, I think the timing might just be right to swing back to David Raya. Obviously tough fixture today, but then a really good run, game week 9 to game week 16. So I think it's probably swinging back to him. Therefore, you don't really need the rotational, I think, with Arsenal because, I mean, you're going to have weeks, for example, like, I mean, game week 11, Ramsdale's got Watford at home and Raya's got Norwich at home. I mean, that'd keep you up all night, mate. So you probably don't need the rotation. I think if it was me now, it would be between Raya and Ramsdale. And I'd possibly just suffer today, know that you can hit save points, and then great fixtures afterwards. I think Raya now, actually, ironically, as Arsenal's fixtures get better, but Brentford's get much better in my opinion. Lewis H, hi James. That's the question was just John. James, hi James. Do you have a TV license? Yes, mate. Definitely do. Edwin Guan, rank the best Chelsea defenders. Okay. Azpilicueta, Rudiger, Thiago, Christensen, Chilwell, James, Alonso, Chalobah. Did I miss anyone? Archie Driver, Mane or KDB? For what? To buy? To captain? Have a look at the screen, you'll find your answer. Patrick Lawson, hi James, which 4.4, 4.6 million defender would you go with on a wildcard? Have Livramento and Ramsdale in goal, thinking Brighton or Wolves. Wolves would probably be a no, not keen on that. Brighton, we need a bit more info, don't we? Webster's back, Lamptey's fit. It's not great. I think Duffy's about to become bad. He was about to become a bad buy. He's obviously going to become he's a good hold for everybody that obviously already owns him. But I'd be looking more at Arsenal, I think, Patrick. Or even Brentford, as just said. Ethan Pinnock, maybe. Rico Henry. I'd prefer those options, I think, till we've got more Brighton information. Eshan says, how long is Rudiger out? Worth removing? I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. And nobody asked Thomas Tuchel the right questions yesterday. Jack Tasker, morning James. What was for breakfast? Haven't had any yet. Could do with some inspiration and wildcard. I have 19.2 million for any two spots in mid and or forward. I currently have Salah, Rafinha and Antonio. Thanks. Well, yeah, definitely them guys. 19.2 million for any two spots in mid and or forward. This is the point, right? I see a lot of people getting players that they don't want till next week, ironically. So I think in that case, take a 1 week punt. Riyad Mahrez for me. Get a forward that you know you consistently want to keep there. That's something a bit more sustainable and longer term. So for me, that's Tony. And then you've got money spare, mate. You do not have to spend all the money. Understand that even on wildcard, you will make mistakes. Everybody will make mistakes. Or shit will happen, injuries and stuff. Tahar Sufi, start Jota and Rafinha. Or White over one of them. Leave White on the bench, mate. Chris Jargo, morning James. Is it too risky to have Foden and Jota in your team provided you have a good bench? No, it's okay. It's okay. I mean, this is the thing, right? You get the top players from the top teams, you know what the risk is. If you don't like that shit, go and buy shit that's more consistent. Go and buy an Everton player who's going to play every week, for example, as it stands. But no, it's fine, Chris. Atul Balaji, hey James, with 2 FTs, I could move Jota, Semedo on, but at their prices for whom? Gallagher to Mbuemo, maybe. It might be too early. I could do Sissoko to Brownhill, bank the 0.1. What would you do? I'd arguably do that. But I think if you're already at the 4.5, don't waste the transfer. I would consider Gallagher to Mbuemo. No, it's reasonable because that's the move I want to make next week. Not Gallagher, obviously, for me. It'll be Jota or Greenwood for me to Mbuemo is the thinking. Yeah, I'd just go early on that then, mate. Asil Salem, no questions. Just wanted to say you're a proper legend, James. I really enjoy your talks about football in general. You're a genius. Thank you very much. Legend is appreciated. I don't know about genius. Eshin says, James. No, that you mean like Reece James, don't you? Thanks. Reece James, Diaz, Trent, Cancelo. Which two for Rudiger and Shaw? Cancelo, Trent. If they're affordable, you get them two. Josh Shaw, as a Torres Rudiger owner, who are the best replacements? And if we get news that Jota is benched, do I sell all three for a -8? No. I'd be looking to sell Ferran Torres 100% though. That's got to go. That's the priority problem. I honestly would come down in value. Give yourself some breathing room. If you come down to Mbuemo level, it might open up the game for Rudiger to Trent, for you example. That's the sort of thing that I'd be thinking. Obviously Jota can go as well, but I think like if you go for example Mahrez in your case, if Rudiger's not back next week, you're just knocking your problems on basically. That's why for wildcarders I wouldn't start with Rudiger because he might just be that 1 week punt. Oh yeah, shit, now Rudiger's out for 2-3 weeks. Like it's not helpful, is it? So I'd come down and I'd probably just make one transfer, Torres to someone like Mbuemo, give yourself some breathing space. That's where I'd be at, but it's dependent on your bench as well, Josh. If you're sitting there with like 3 Norwich players who ain't going to play on your bench, then yeah, you need to be fixing up your team. But then I'd be fixing that before the other shit. DC says, Marcel to Chalobah worth a punt. Got 2 FTs and nothing else I really want to do. Don't mind that. Don't mind that at all, my friend, if you can afford it. I think what might be a little bit safer, DC, is if you go Christensen. Just purely on the basis that Christensen's more likely to keep his place in the team for next week, right? And problems may arise in the week. But I don't hate it. If you're very happy with your squad, I don't hate it. Callum says, FPL Luke won't be happy now because you removed both the Lukes from your team. Yeah, someone messaged Disable say, James has got issues, mate. He sold 2 Lukes this week. Shifo said, hi, James. Could you please explain why you prefer Rafinha over Livramento in your benching dilemma? Yes, I shall. I kind of explained it in the first 3 minutes, but very, very briefly. I don't think Rafinha starts. I think he's probably a 1-pointer. I think Livramento is probably a 2-pointer this week. Honest truth, right? So just on that alone, right, I should play Livramento. If I bench Rafinha and Rafinha starts, that's bad. That's bad. That's bad news for me. I'm in trouble. It also doesn't particularly matter because I've got Rudiger in the starting lineup, right? So they're both going to be there as well, personally. But on the benching dilemma, exactly that. Do you want to bench Rafinha with the small possibility he can play? I'd look at it like this and go, I'd be less disappointed with the correct theory of it's probably a 1-pointer. He could come on and sub and do something. Then actually just having it wrong and he starts and I've benched him. That's horrendous. Horrendous. Like if he starts, he could go off. So for me, starts. I think if you've got comparable attacking players like Mbeumo, Sarr, Tony, these players I've listed, I'd start them ahead. But on that, Rafinha versus Liverpool, what are we saying? Southampton are like great shakes defensively now. Livramento only gets attacking returns against the big three anyway. Sorry to Manchester United fans for saying big three. Alan Holohan says, morning James, would you do Rudiger to Trent, bench Mbeumo, or play Mbeumo and roll? Also own Aspi. If it's for free and you can get Trent, get Trent. Get Trent. I mean, if I could have got Trent for the -4, I probably would have got Trent. So if you can get Trent, get Trent. Jerry Millen says, should I sell Alonso for TAA or Diaz or keep him this week? Again, you can get Trent for free. Get Trent back. Alan says, Antonio and Huang or Jimenez and Armstrong. Good question. Personally, I'd still rather have Antonio for the next couple. Definitely want Antonio against Tottenham next week. Definitely. So I'm gonna side with Antonio, but that's quite close in fairness. Ali says, hello James, what do you think about picking Gray for his decent upcoming 2 matches and switch to Mbeumo? Yeah, fine, reasonable. I mean, you can do that sort of thing. Gray, Doucouré, Townsend, 2 games, West Ham at home, Watford at home. They've both got difficult games this week. Again, I think Brentford against Leicester next week, I wouldn't be scared of having Mbeumo. But yeah, that's very reasonable to go down that route. Patrick Lawson said, need a Tony placeholder for 1 or 2 weeks. Who would you go with? 7 million budget. The answer is, I'd just go Tony. I'd just go with Tony. Honestly, I would go Morpay. I'd go Morpay for this week. Bang, Tony next week. That's exactly what I'd be doing. If it's part of your structure that you've got other planned transfers next week and you have to go someone for the 2 game weeks, I would possibly consider Rodrigo as a different shout. Southampton away, Wolves at home. Not bad. And of course, as already covered, I think Adam Armstrong is probably even a better shout. Immortal Technique. Hi James, your graphics are not rotating. Are they not? Are they not? Are they not? Why would that be? Let's look into that. Let's see if that does anything. Bear with us. Will Crooks. Hey James, what do you think of Greenwood to Mahrez? I don't mind it for a 1 weeker. They should be rotating now, I think, guys. Apologies. In fact, let's take the predictions off and on as well. Give that a refresh. Sorry, guys. Well done for pointing it out. Thank you. Will Cooks. Hey, James. What do you think of Greenwood to Mahrez? I don't mind it. You're probably going to want to sell Mahrez again as quickly as next week. The problem is when you buy Riyad Mahrez next week, Brighton away. Oh, I'll keep 1 more week. The Palace at home. Oh, I'll keep 1 more week. There's always the possibility that could happen, right? Sam C says, hi James, Rudiger replacement, 5.8 million, 1 week punt on Wildcard in 9. Hi James, Rudiger replacement for 1 week punt as on Wildcard in 9. Okay. You want someone just for this week. It's too much for Asby, isn't it? To be honest, Laporte. If you've already got Kyle Walker, add it. I don't mind the earlier one, Chalobah or Christensen. I think 1 week I'd Chalobah over Christensen personally, but I guess there's a small possibility Chalobah doesn't play. We assume that he has to, I think. It's got to be Azpilicueta, Christensen, Chalobah, the back three today, isn't it? Although, I did have some thought last night and wonder if Tuchel might go to a back four, which we haven't really seen him do, but we think that that's his longer term goal with the squad, is to play a back four, and it has something that's crossed my mind. But then I think if they did that, it would be Chalobah and Christensen at centre back and Azpilicueta at right back. So it should still be alright. Jeremy Lawless is telling to Gavin Walsh, our man here is an expert analysing games, but he's most certainly not an expert FPL. I'm sure he'll happily admit that. You're absolutely right, Jeremy. Thank you, mate. Is that Farhan says, hi James, should I start Rafinha or just play Livramento instead? I've just covered this. Ritwick says, Rudiger out for TAA or Cancelo for -4. Ooh. I'm going to say yes, because the ceilings of these two players are big. So yeah, a preference would be TAA still. Even in spite of the fact they've got Manchester United next week. You get TAA, get TAA. Ian O'Neill, Rudiger and Jota out to Bernardo Silva and Cancelo. Bernardo Silva not FPL option in my opinion. Playing exceptionally well at the moment. Not an FPL option as far as I'm concerned. Doesn't mean he can't score this week. We know that. Foden surely over Bernardo Silva, although I'm guessing perhaps that's not affordable. I would look elsewhere, but not Bernardo Silva. There's a transfer waiting to happen with certainty. Charles John, should I get Rashford? No. I mean, he could start today, but I think it'd be a sub personally. And you need to see him play, right? As a general rule of thumb, don't go steaming into players who've been injured for 3 months. Give it a chance. James Brennan, hi mate, what do you think about Triple City defence? I Cancelo, Diaz and Walker at the moment. Cheers. Thumbs up, like it, mate. Ritwick says, Gallagher, Sarr, Semedo, Livramento, which two to play? Definitely Ismaila Sarr. Let's not be scared about this. Liverpool got no Fabinho, no Alisson. He definitely plays, as far as I'm concerned. Talisman for Watford. Yeah, I think they'll get beat fairly comfortably, but it might go the other way. He's done it against Liverpool before. From the other guys, I think I'd go Livramento. I'd go Livramento just over Gallagher, then Semedo, I think. They're brain damaged, them Wolves defenders, mate. A great cover, backup, brain damage. Lewis James says, morning James, good luck this game week. Strange request, but is it possible the office wall is painted? Love watching the YouTube version of some videos, but a patchy wall drives my OCD crazy. We do want to do something with it. If you saw the rest of that room at the moment, you would understand why painting the room is the last priority. But to be honest, Lewis, I look at it too and think, oh, fucking hell, do something with it. We will at some point. To be fair, it's very cold out there as well, so it might even be we end up in Sudge's office for the next few months. Nexus 7 says, bench Tony or Stones? Well, the answer is, it don't matter, mate. But you don't bench a Manchester City defender when they're at home. So you've got me there. Well done. Nasu says, KDB or Mane for next 3 game weeks? KDB. KDB, why not? Oh no, he's lost his thread on the questions. George Nibs, sound James. I have also Alonso and Rudiger. Who would you lose for Trent this week? I think Chilwell plays, personally. So I'd lose Alonso. Rory Lynch just joined. Not sure if you have mentioned it yet. I assume Son is the one as COVID. If so, who would you bring in for him? Anyone. If I had Heung-min Son, I would be very tempted to buy Riyad Mahrez and deal with the problem and possibly look at it and go, Riyad Mahrez, 3 game weeks, back to Son in 11. Therefore, you've got to leave the money. That's possibly what I'd be thinking. Just chance Mahrez for 3 weeks. Be strict about it. Back to Son in 11 or 12. Ed Sperling, hey James, on Wildcard, down to this pick 2 of 4. Jota, Foden, Jimenez, Mount. Foden first and foremost. I'm going to say Jimenez. Finley Jacks, -4 for Walker, or just play Cody. Just play Cody. To be honest. Meh. Brian04, Fernandes, Jota, Torres, Shaw to Salah, Mahrez and Buemo, Reece James from -8. No. So down. There's easier things you can do there. So, I mean, you could do Torres to Buemo, Fernandes to Salah for 2 threes. Mahrez potentially a longer term problem. I mean, I don't hate it as -8s go, but I mean, the reality is Bruno Fernandes could outscore all of the 4 players you're buying, right? That always makes it a little bit risky. Reece James might not play. I think he will for the 100th time. Same applies to Mahrez. Might not play. I think he will. I would say no. I mean, it's one step too far, personally. I mean, just sit down and think about that. Shaw to Reece James -4. It's a no for me. Craig Gardner, how much of a risk is Greenwood now? Rashford is back. Money to go. Grealish 1 free transfer, but looks of getting back TAA. We're sitting at about rank 400 overall, but slipped back in last week, but still in top 10k. You don't need my advice, Craig, if that's how well you're doing. I don't believe Grealish is an asset at the moment. Q hat-trick today, of course. Vivek Gore, should I take out Vardy for Lukaku? Not today. Rohif has put a question in capital letters. What do we do for questions in capital letters, guys? We ignore them. Rohif, I don't know. I don't pick the team, mate. Satabrat A, Van Dijk or Matip? If you can pay the extra for Van Dijk, you do, because Matip can get left out any week. Sanjay, go for Timo or Foden. I presume that's the Timo Werner, not Tino Livramento. Foden. I'm not getting the Werner love, personally. Harold T, is he taking the questions from YT Chat or somewhere else? Read the pin tweet, Harold. Jason Stilling, benching dilemma's not moving, James. Should be now, I believe. Rowan Balani, is Ronaldo captain a bad choice? I also have Salah, but I want someone different. I prefer to avoid captain the early kickoff. You play the game however you want to play it, mate. Alejandro Perez, hey James, I'm planning on getting rid of Jota and upgrade Williams to a Chelsea defender for -4 next week. I should just take the hit now and get rid of Jota. If so, and Buemo or Gallagher, I'd keep Jota. How many minutes to deadline, guys? 20 minutes. If you haven't got a question in the chat, guys, it's highly unlikely I'm going to get to you at this stage. My wife is conveniently sending me WhatsApp messages of screenshots with her team. Oh, this is a bit grim, isn't it? Get rid of one of them shit midfielders. Fucking Dallas and McCarthy starting. Play Chilwell. Let's see if we got any potential leak on Liverpool. No. Nothing concrete. I have had a rumour passed to me that Cancelo will start for Manchester City today. That's from a source that I trust. Nothing on Liverpool. I don't know how they've got that Man City news so early, with being 4 or 5 minutes before deadline, but perhaps, I know it's a potential contact of Manchester City, but yeah, Cancelo we think starts today. It's what I've heard. Nothing is yet on Liverpool. Are these benching dilemmas still not moving about? That's a real pain in the arse, isn't it? Yep, that fixes the problem. Sorry, guys. Alejandro, that's the question I've just done. Abdrizak, Omar, Grealish or Foden? Foden for me. Kevin Cook, start on Buemo, Rafinha or Azpilicueta. To be honest, from now I'd go Azpilicueta, mate. Matt Clark, hey James, I'm going round in circles. Can I either go safe Rudiger to Trent or Cancelo, or risky Greenwood and Jimenez to KDB and Hwang for -4? Nah, I'd go to safe, Matt. Dan Cranstone, hi James, best 1 week punt striker for 8.5 million and under. Neil Morpay. That would really please the guy who's on my case about him every week, but he's a 1 week punt, mate. Bob Lake, do I play Rafinha or Sarr this week? Benching Dilemma Screen, you'll find your answer. Ishmael Sarr. Paul Dixon, hi James, love the podcast on Newcastle Takeover. Is Iheanacho worth a 1 week punt on Wildcard to change to Tony next week? I don't hate that because of Manchester United's defensive problems, but I think there are better 1 week striking punts than that. And I've just answered who I would go for. Sasfimp says Alonso or Chilwell's got to be Chilwell, mate. Alistair Coper, hey mate. Down to Saka v Mount now. Which would you go for? I know you suggested Foden yesterday, but I don't think he starts today. Thanks. Saka. Vikram says KDB captain and Werner or Lukaku. And Foden and Salah captain. KDB captain and Werner or Lukaku. Just get rid of this Werner shit. Everyone wants to be a hero about it because some of his stats in the last couple look good. But he ain't staying in that team long term, in my opinion. Lukaku and Foden and Salah, the second one. Rohith, that's twice, mate. So, you know what we do to people ask, delete, repeat questions? We remove them. Much love, Rohith. I wish you well. Hope you have a green arrow this week. Andrew Sands says, good luck, folks. Not currently watching, about to watch the Cruise, a new age at the cinema in East Grinstead. Oh, have fun, Andrew. Charles John, should I get Rashford? Have we already had that one as well, mate? Be careful. Andrew Jarvis, morning James, hope you're well. Is Mbeumo and Livramento at 1 and 2 on the bench the right order? Expect them to come in for Rudiger and Raf. Mbeumo first. Craig Robbins, thoughts on Shimikas, Rudiger, Ronaldo to TAA, Reece James and Ronaldo for -4. Brilliant. You sold and bought Ronaldo on a -4. Cheers, keep up the good work, says Craig. That bit I can do, but I can't answer your question, mate. Chirag says, is Foden go-to pick this week if Salah will blank captain? If Salah will blank captain. You know Salah's going to blank as captain? I mean, personally, if I had KDB and I knew Salah wasn't in the team, that's the first place I'd be going with the armband. Clive Diaz says, do transfer Rudiger and Bamford out for Cancelo and Tony for -4 hit. Yes, get that done, mate. Ketso Hiker, thanks for the continued extensive content. Sujan James, how did you get on at the gym? Can't you tell from my double gym, mate? Powerhouse 2406, why are people picking Jimenez? Reliable fixtures, consistent, 8 to 14. People don't want to worry about that position for a while. That's my guess. Personally, wouldn't be for me at the moment, but it's reasonable. And a lot of the forwards that are attractive don't have great fixtures this week. Like Tony, for example. Kind of want to come back to it next week. Chris Wood, don't want to get it this week. Man City away, right? And there's a few other, Iheanacho, there's a few other options like that. Gavin Welsh, great answer, mate, to my previous question. I love your concept. Wish you all the best this week. Thanks, Gavin. Can't remember what it was, but you're very welcome, mate. Jason Gann, Sarto and Mbeumo will save the transfer. Save the transfer. Sarr could easily outscore Mbeumo this week. George Kent, all right, mate. Thoughts on Jota to Mbeumo to fund Williams to Cancelo for a -4. Yeah, don't hate that. I think that's okay, mate. James Howe, morning James. On Wildcard, would you go Trossard as a 1 week placeholder for Rafinha this week? Although will mean losing 0.1 as sell him at 6.5. Buy back. I wouldn't worry about the 0.1s and shit. No, I'd just start with Rafinha. I'd just lumber it. Just lumber it and go with it. Just go with it. That could. You have one problem in your squad, James. That very easily become a -4 next week. Just go Rafinha, mate. Dan Sheffield, do I leave Rafinha in and have Tony as first sub in case he doesn't play? I mean, to be honest, I'd pick Tony over Rafinha most weeks anyway, personally. Thanks, Joe Finney-Badder, for getting rid of some shit. Paul Kit Chabra, Livramento or Rafinha, who to play and who to bench? Is a clue. Have a look at my team on the screen, mate. Powerhouse 2406, I've covered you, mate. Don't let me see it again. Chris Jargo, what do you think of the new Buzz expression? J-Lo backline. I ain't heard of it, mate. I'm spending less and less time on Twitter. FPL Axum, Sarr to someone for -4. I have 7.8. Or should I keep Sarr? I have only Rafinha on the bench. My friend, from the way you've asked the question, it's keep Sarr. It's keep Sarr. That's it. And you might suddenly get to next week and think, oh, Everton away, Southampton at home. That's not that bad. Clive Diaz, St. Maximin or Ivan Toney? I mean, not leaving players out against Tottenham, mate. Simple as that. But if I was buying one, it would still be Toney. I did an extensive piece for our advanced tier patrons with some video analysis on Thursday of basically St. Maximin is a different player with and without Callum Wilson. It takes more responsibility when Wilson's not there. And Wilson's back. So Tony for me, mate, on the serious. If it's the choice of which one to start this week, St. Maximin. Eshan says Trent, Cancelo, Diaz, James, best pick for sure. Trent, Karim Kenway, who do I transfer in for Adama Traore? Anyone, mate. Like literally, pin the tail on a fucking donkey, mate. Wolves attackers. Sorry, I don't mean to scare Jimenez and Hwang owners. I'm sure you'll be fine. Replacement for... I would just go and Mbeumo, mate. Just go and Mbeumo. Then I'd be very tempted to possibly keep that for one more week. Hecko says replacement for Rudiger 5.9. The Man City players have already mentioned. James Faint, benching dilemma is not changing for me. Would you play Livramento or Semedo? I would play Livramento personally, mate. Semedo's not on now, so it's a fair question anyway. I hope they're moving now, but I'm not sure what the issue is, to be honest. Should we give it another refresh? He's not happy. Really not happy. I don't know why it's so unhappy. Right, we're about 11 minutes to deadline, guys. Make sure you're getting them teams locked in. Excuse me. MHD Fran, Hwang, Saka and Manquillo, or Davis, Mount and Duffy. Grim. The first one. Paul Booth, a mate of mine will not get rid of his keeper in Ederson thinking he's smart. He also has Rudiger. Surely he gets rid of Ederson and frees up cash. I don't know your mate, Paul. James Howe, better pairing of Ruben Diaz and Norman, or Smith Rowe and Walker Laporte. Can I be honest with you and say Laporte and Norman and leave the money spare? Might do you a favour, mate. Otherwise, Laporte and Smith Rowe. Mac Wong, sell Antonio. Not yet for me, mate. Andy P, no Arsenal player. James, in regards to your answer for my Sky question regarding Rudiger to a Villa player, then I'd wait. Someone else might get injured over the weekend, Andy. Game might open up for you. I think wait. Let's get some more info, mate. Mac Wong's also saying Captain Cancelo. I mean, yeah, if you're feeling fruity, I've just told you that I've had some inside saying that he should be in the Manchester City team today. And in fact, I've been told he is in the Manchester City team today. Any news on Liverpool? No concrete news on Liverpool at the moment. Patrons, if you're in the stream, you know what to do. If you hear anything at this stage, DMs, please. Only if it's a reliable source. Mark Elders, Saka or Townsend? I prefer Saka, mate. And Mark, start Livramento or St. Maximin. St. Maximin, mate. Bossman525, another YouTuber is heavily considering Captain Cancelo. Worth a punt. Another YouTuber? You mean Andy, don't you? I'd be surprised if Andy's not captain Salah today. He's probably considering it in case he hears last minute that Salah's not playing. I don't hate it. I don't hate Cancelo as an option this week. I don't actually hate Trent as an option this week. I think beyond Salah, it's very, very open this week, personally, in terms of where you'd go. There's loads. I actually think like Raheem Sterling, no one's mentioning. That Ferran Torres injury, I reckon we'll be talking about Raheem Sterling as a very interesting option in a few weeks. I think he's going to play the majority of games up front for Man City now. And I think he might come back around for Raheem Sterling to be interesting. No one's talking about it now. Yazid says, I have Sanchez. I'm really not interested in reading out your whole team, but I wish you the very best of luck, Yazid. My suggestion is, if you're just posting the team and asking for suggestions, I haven't got any, mate. Alexander says, Reece James and Brownhill or Duffy and Smith Rowe. Cheers. Option A. Abjit says, Mahrez instead of Foden for a wild card. Foden I'd look at and go, right, he's going in longer term. Mahrez, I'd be so short term about it. So that only you can answer that next bit. Prabesh says, Livramento, Cody or Rafinha. Which two to start? Bench Cody, mate. Nigel Sam, hi James, the benching dilemma screen is stuck. Yeah, I'm aware. I can only apologise, guys. I'll tell you what, I'll repeat them all again for you, just briefly, for those who come in later. So I would go Tony over Wood, Wood over Sarr, Sarr over Rafinha, Rafinha over Mbeumo, Mbeumo over Smith Rowe, Smith Rowe over Decore. Looks like it's moving now. Decore over Shaw, Shaw over Duffy, Duffy over Livramento, Livramento over Gallagher, Gallagher over Traore, Traore over White, White over Reguilon, Reguilon over Manquillo, Manquillo over Marcel, Marcel over Pinnock. Hope that helps. Ash K, James, love your insight. Just have to say it's Cancelo, not Cancelo. Well, however you say it, I can not say that. Kevin, what would you Portuguese fullback, very good player. Kevin Cook. I mean, listen, if we're going to be criticising me on pronunciations, I mean, there's about another 50 players you could put in here, right? Definitely. Just to confirm, it is urinal and not urinal, unless you're in America, in which case urinal is acceptable. Kevin Cook, can you change bench page? I fucking tried, Kevin. Jackson, will Sun start? No. Techers 3773. Anyone else having a benching dilemma? Okay, I've got it with the benching dilemmas, guys. Limui Manuel, Diaz or Aspi? Already have Cancelo. Aspi. I think. Bonjour, start 2 of Sarr, Livramento, Rafinha, bench Livramento out of that. Stan Abraham, heard Stone starting means Cancelo bench. Where'd you hear that from, Stan? Don't come in here and post stuff unless you got a reliable source, my friend. Jordan Harrison, hi James, on Wildcard, do you think Foden, Christensen or Mount and Chilwell, James? I'd take that chance with Christensen, mate. Stuart Bell, morning, would you bench Allen or Gallagher? I don't think it matters, but you play Gallagher, mate. Michael Millard, any updates about Son? Yeah, mate, he's not very well. Winardi, Rafinha news, somewhere in the UK. Patrick Lawson, White or Tomiyasu? White. Start Abraham, yeah, looks like Laporte bench, Stone starts. Where's your source, mate? Well, I'm going to stop reading your comments. Mohammed Ahmed was saying, morning, James. Son has butchered my plans. Should I swap him with Mahrez, Jota or Barnes? 1 week punt, Mahrez, mate. Rob Baldino 7, start 2 of Livramento and Buemo Gallagher. Start 2 of Livramento and Buemo Gallagher. I would go Livramento over Gallagher. Definitely play on Buemo. Sam says, with rumours coming out about Jota being benched, is it worth bringing in Foden for a hit? Well, I mean, rumours are rumours, right, at this stage. Don't know anything more than that. Let's have another check again, see if we've got any possible info. Jay Averind, if you're in here, mate, and you're messaging me while I'm gonna message this guy. I'm on a live stream. Watch it. Fucking people, honestly. No Liverpool news coming in. Nothing that I've got that's concrete anyway at the moment. We are about 4 minutes to deadline, guys. Make sure you're getting locked in. Roshan says, Rudiger and Alonso. Whom do I replace to get rid of Alonso, mate? Ludwig, on Wildcard, I understand this is on your graphic. Would you still play Mbeumo over Smith Rowe if I have Tony as well? Plan to get Mbeumo next week. Or, yep, makes no difference, mate. Clive Diaz, Tony or St. Maximin? Start one this week, St. Maximin, to buy Tony. Sabama, update on Son. Yes, he's not very well. Ben Goss, Livramento and Ramsdale or Raya and Tierney. Raya and Tierney, mate. I don't need to see that message 100 times, mate. F. Perkson, are you even reading the latest chats? No, mate. Read the pinned tweet. Jeffson, Shaw, Jota, Sards, Cancelo, Foden and Buemo for -4. Yeah, why not? FPL telling Josh, thank you, mate. Nirmal, Rafinha going to start? I don't know. I don't pick the team, mate. Josh Shah, thanks, James. My bench is Livramento and Sarr to Torres to Mbeumo makes sense. Frustrating since I bought in Rudiger for James last week due to injuries. Now I feel like flipping that. Frustration, now you deal with it. It's what's important there, mate. Deadly Mantis, how big do you think Becker's absence is for Liverpool? It could be. It could really affect them defensively today. Valtia, Chilwell or James, still can't decide. Chilwell for me. Deadly Mantis, will Ranieri have the new manager effect against Liverpool and stun them with 3 points? I doubt it, but it's possible. FPL Sponge, A, Laporte and Foden, B, Aspi and Jota. I'm guessing you can't go Aspi and Foden. Personally, I would say Laporte, Foden. Personally. S. Sam, anyone, James or Chilwell? Yeah, anyone. Yeah, me. I'm here. Shane Mib, start Rafinha or Gray. I don't think you're not leaving that Gray this week, are you? Play Gray. Sabama, update on Sun. Oh, so many times, mate. Thanks. Like, jog on. With best respect. Have a great weekend. Greg Benham, thoughts on Captain Cancelo? I've covered this for someone else. Vikrant, alternative option for Adama Traore. Anyone? Said that earlier. Pin the tail on the donkey, mate. Anyone. Any of them 5.5s and Buemo. Luke Hyman, Son and Hill very likely out with Rona. Yep, they've got Rona. Son and Hill, they've got Rona. Deadly Mantis, Morpay top scorer this week in my opinion. Stick the armband on him then, mate, and send us a screenshot of that. Nasir says Grealish or Foden. Foden for me. Irfan, 3 doubts, Rudiger, Rafinha and Jota. Yep, I have all of them, and hence have to do -4 for either Scarlett to Hwang or Armstrong or Rudiger to TA. I get TAA, mate. Ray Joyce, replace Watford keeper from -4. Backman, Foster. Who's your other keeper? Can't answer that. Sam Taylor, Reece James or Tierney this week. I'm playing Buemo and Tony also. Look, if you've got Reece James, you're playing him. Otherwise, you're just going to have this fear every week and you should sell. Nasir, I've told you. Foden. Luke Hyman, Jota bench, by the way. Son almost defo out. Thanks for the Jota information. I haven't got it. It could be a rumour, and it doesn't surprise me. It's not going to surprise anyone if Jota's benched, right? Nasir says Grealish, James, Lukaku, or Jota, Ronaldo, Christensen. It's got to be option A, isn't it? Sapper, I don't appreciate like questions in capital letters, mate. Cheers. Mr. Anderson, benching Diamond still not moving James. I think they are now. Eshan, if Son gets down with COVID, how long will he be out for? I don't know, mate. I'm not Heung-min Son. Farge996, Cucurella 1 week punt. It's an expensive 1 week punt. Morali, is it good to play triple captain Salah? No, mate. No. Fraser Love, I've got Lukaku and Ronaldo and 2 transfers. Would you keep Ron for another week? I would downgrade to Tony and upgrade defence to Cancelo. Yeah, great. Do it. Upgrade. Nathan says, strong rumours Stones plays. Andy says, let's talk FPL. Add unconfirmed DMs. If Andy said it, must be true. Akram says, Alonso for Cancelo for -4. Appreciate the hard work you guys do. I'm going to say yes. Sanjay, Timo or Foden? Foden. Ethan says, what you think of Elianusi as a punt? I think he wasn't even the Southampton team last week. Ignore that. And I told people that weeks ago. Morali, is it good to play triple? No, stop, mate. Jordan Harrison, Trossard for a 1 week punt on Wildcard. Change for Rafinha next week. As I've said previously, just Rafinha. Thomas Morris, start White, Rafinha. Thomas Dolan, hello, I need to bench Sar, Greenwood or Rafinha. Please let me know what you do. I'd actually bench Rafinha from that. Deadly Mantis with no Alisson and a midfield of Henderson, Milner and Ox to be Liverpool's undoing. Could be. Hugo, Basuma arrested. Yes, he was, but apparently he trained this week. Nikesh, who do I replace Rudiger with? Maybe no one, mate. Maybe just keep him. Oh, no, he's lost the questions. Is that deadline, guys? I make it deadline. Stop what you're doing. Lock your teams in, but you're probably a little bit late. Right, thanks, guys. Sorry to those whose questions I didn't get to. If anybody's got any non-FPL questions, feel free to pop them in the chat. I'll hang around for 10 to 15 minutes or so and cover them off. For those who just came for the FPL, I wish you your arrows to be green this week and the very best of luck. Content is coming week. Monday, Game Week review returns. We're talking about the 9 games from Monday. Probably it's likely to be changed the schedule this week. Probably Ask James probably on Tuesday because it's a Friday deadline and I can't be doing 2 streams in one day with the same repetitive questions over and over again. Wednesday, Sky Fantasy Football versus Clash of Correspondence, Crystal Palace versus Newcastle with McTavius, FPL Footballer. Friday will likely be People's Poll and it will likely be FPL related and we will likely have that out for you as early as possible for you, sort of in time for lunchtime on Friday. Patreon. If you want to support us on Patreon, go to www.patreon.com/planetfpl. 5 additional podcasts from intermediate tier and 5 additional video content from myself at advanced tier every week as well. Don't do it because you think you can become a better FPL manager. Do it because you want to support our content. We would much appreciate having you on board and joining the Planet FPL community. Podcast this week will include a Q&A on Monday, as every Monday. Champions League UCL Fantasy Preview on Tuesday. Wednesday, Tottenham, and I suspect there's going to be some whinging on that this week. Thursday will be a quiz being done by FPL Mango. Friday will be our Game Week 9 preview. Right, let's see who we've got. Non-FPL questions. Ben Gale says, deadline up. Have a great FPL week, everyone. I concur. Uncle Bob said, who's your captain in Sky today? That'll be Mohamed Salah, mate. Plan is Salah today, Antonio tomorrow, Gallagher on Monday. Static said, non-FPL question, when did you start losing your hair? End of secondary for me. I don't know, mate. I spent too many years drinking. Just one day I looked at it. It's the same with weight. No one sees themselves grow their beer belly. Just one day you're like, oh. And it was the same with the hair. I'm pretty sure quite early, in fairness. Probably like early 20s, I'd have said. I'd have to look at photos. I don't actually know. It's a good question. Tin Street MTG, you have faith in Rafinha starting? No, not really. I imagine I've got Rafinha on the bench, Jota on the bench, and Rudiger unavailable from my starting lineup. But if Salah does the business and the other players in my squad do okay, like, you know, if Harvey Barnes could finally show up, this would be a good week for it, for example. Not that I want Kieran Tierney to get attacking returns Monday, but that sort of thing would certainly help the FPL team. It's just another survival week for me, this one. Essam, what made you want to start Planet FPL? Nothing, mate. Suj said, do you want to do a fantasy football podcast? And I said, yeah. And then we did it. He said, do you want to do another one next week? I said, yeah. Then after that one, he said, same time next week? I said, yeah. This is literally as far as the conversation went, mate. And here we are. Kalechi says, yo, are you still after a video editor and a content manager? Yes, possibly. If you don't have experience in that field, then it's a no at the moment. You also need to be available to be on location in Barnet in North London. But yes, we are still looking for one, Kalechi. If you have the required experience, feel free to DM me on Twitter, Planet FPL Pod, mate. Or email us, even better, Kalechi. Email us, help@planetfpl.com. Immortal Technique. Hi, James. What does your coffee cup say have on it? Good luck. So, this was... a lot of you won't remember this. But the guys at Champ Man... I used to do the streams for them for Champ Man FPL. And they got me this mug as a thank you for doing the streams. And it's in relation to Gameweek 15 in the Champ Man streams. And it says... I don't know if you can see it or not, actually. You probably can, just about. It says Arsenal 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1, Sheringham 90. And it also says Ashley Cole sent off after 21 minutes. It's obviously a mythical game. That didn't actually happen in real life. But shout out to the Champ Man people in the stream. Simon Colson, long-time follower, first-time commenter here. Do you follow up on your predictions to see how many you get correct? Good luck this week. I don't, no. But FPL Bus Team's keeping a track of it. Kevin's top lad. And thank you for going advanced tier, Kevin. Much appreciate that, mate. Sebo Slice, who do you think should replace Ollie when he gets sacked? Zidane. Mourinho. Get Mourinho back. It was much more fun. Conte, I think, for United. Mohamed Camrasman, hi again. Claudio Ranieri is one of my favourite managers due to 15-16 season. But what's your thoughts on his fourth return to the league? Is Watford his next Fulham? Thanks for your time. Good luck. Who knows? We've seen it go both ways with Ranieri. I think personally they haven't got enough quality. You take Sarr out of that team. It's a championship team, I think, really. Atul Balaji, is it just me or does Federico Fernandez seriously look like Novak Djokovic? Also think Todd Cantwell kind of looks like Justin Bieber. Lol. Any player you think looks like someone else? Can we just say, right, this is an opinion the wife has, right, and I'm not saying I concur with it, but has anyone ever seen Justin Bieber and Miley Cyrus in the same place? No? Okay. Martin Boyle says, James, where do you get your patience from? Some of those questions would have me smashing my keyboard. I try to be nice, my friend. Essence says, do you think Rafinha should move in the summer? If yes, where do you think is the best destination? Best destination for Rafinha is probably Paris Saint-Germain, unfortunately. I don't want to say that. I mean, if Salah went, then Liverpool. As I said earlier, I could see it being the sort of one Newcastle go for because there's definite resale value. Definite resale value. Miesto, Sky question. Worth moving Sanchez to Pickford tomorrow. There's no cover for Everton's single game day and Brighton next few difficult. It's one way of doing it. It's one way of doing it, but you can also just attack that on the night. And you might decide that attacking Sarr on the night is better than going Pickford. Because Because what you're going to do after Pickford plays Wolves, well, then he's got Tottenham, Man City, Brentford, Liverpool, Arsenal, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, Leicester as his long-term fixtures after that. So you then move in Pickford as well. So just look at it longer term. Honestly, if you're in that position now, I think I would wait till the Monday. I think outfield Everton players have probably gone by tomorrow, in terms of the attacking ones like Gray, Decore and stuff. But I think in that case, you don't want to be fucking about with the goalkeeper too much, mate. And I'd look at Everton's fixtures after Wolves and say, well, what are you doing then? There's a good chance you're going to want to move that. So then suddenly it's 2 transfers. Whereas actually afterwards, Sar's still got Palace, West Ham, Norwich, Burnley. Then a rougher few. But there's a good escape for Sar after they play Liverpool in game week 15. So I would wait, actually. I would wait. It might be as well that you have another injury comes up and your solution gets fixed because of that. And you go, okay, fine, you might get an injury today in the midfield. You think, okay, right, I'm going to get Damari Gray, for example, whatever. Paul Whitehead, non-deadline. Any thoughts that Ronaldo more of a problem for Man United than a benefit? A season of Goodwood up front, no big ego, and the money wages swept on a young DM, much better in my opinion. So United have a big counter-attacking problem which starts right from the front, which isn't actually Ronaldo's problem. It's more a problem in terms of they're pressing off the ball and leaving the back four too isolated at times is more the issue. And that happens, by the way, irrespective of whether Pogba plays deep or not. It happens both ways. Ronaldo, you can't look at Ronaldo and say Ronaldo's bad for Manchester United because of the goals. But actually, yeah, they didn't need him. They didn't need him. They've got energetic players from the front who now can't press from the front because he's not gonna do it. And I just don't think it suits, personally. Now Ronaldo will get enough goals to make up for the loss. I don't doubt that. But as a team, I think it leaves them in a position that they can get beat in almost any game at the moment. Now, they win far more than they lose, there's no doubt about that. But I think United are going to have some shocking results this year against some shit teams, as we've seen the last couple, basically. I can see Villa fans coming down my neck. You know what I mean. Villa shouldn't be winning at Old Trafford with a team that's got Cristiano Ronaldo in it. James Brenner says, which midfield 2 would you play if you were Ollie? Personally, I like McTominay. I think he's a good player. I think at the moment, because of what I've spoken about, the counter-attack, do you know what? They're better off playing Matic in now. They've got enough attacking, but just let Matic sit in front of the back four and fucking protect them in that area. And then McTominay can go and press at other times. And that's no frills, don't get me wrong. But I think it solves the solution a little bit for them. And then I think you have to play Pogba higher. But if Pogba can play for Manchester United, like play for, I thought he was brilliant in the Nations League final for France, playing in the 2 with I forget your name of your fellow who plays for Monaco, who played really well as well. Chomny, I'm going to pronounce that wrong. Good player. Then it wouldn't be so much of an issue. But then I think if Pogba's going to play in the 2, his best partner's Matic. Matic shouldn't be anywhere near a Manchester United team now, really. But he's probably the best solution in terms of protecting that. You've got so many attacking players. Your job is to protect, win it, give it. Nothing more flashy than that. And I think in the short term, that's what they should consider. Their priority has to be to buy a player in that area. They should be knocking on West Ham's door. Addy says, hi James, with no Son, is Kane still the best captain in Sky on Sunday? Yes. Yeah, it doesn't make a difference, mate. Tottenham tomorrow will probably be Bergwijn instead of Son, I should imagine. Other than that, it'll be the same team that beat Villa. Obviously, depends on the condition of the South American players, but I think with the extra day, they'll probably all play, I'm going to guess. And yes, if I owned Harry Kane, I would still captain him in Sky tomorrow. Ray Koresh says, morning, James. Good luck this week, pal. Thanks, mate. You too. If you didn't catch it on Ray's channel, I guessed it on his YouTube channel on Monday, and we spoke about Tottenham, all-time favourite 11. Past experience, future experience, current experience, kind of an hour or so on Tottenham. It was a pleasure joining Ray on that stream. Ray, pop the link for that stream in the chat if you're still here, mate. FPL Hitman, morning James, cheers, good luck this week you two, mate. Lalu Tree, hi James, who paid the bill when you had beer with Andy? With everybody. We just kept buying rounds, mate. It wasn't a bill at the end. But I'm sure if it come to it, I'd have paid for it. Rhinos Leeds, have you seen the Merson documentary? No, I've not had time to watch any TV this week. Bar I watched England Tuesday night. Do you think there's enough debate in FPL over the links between gambling companies and FPL, which, let's face it, is a great breeding ground for them? We won't have a sponsorship with a gambling company unless, let's be honest, unless they offered a sum of money that we couldn't refuse. It's reality. I'm loath to criticise the people who are getting money from gambling companies because we don't know what they're being offered. And at the end of the day, if that money makes a difference to give your kid a better life, I can get it. But we've had a few gambling companies approach us. Our principal idea is no, generally speaking. It's not great, particularly when FPL managers have this addictive nature. I think many do. And gambling and the links. I getting tired of all the shit I see on my timeline, to be honest. It's kind of, gamble this, gamble that. There's a lot going on that I just think, fuck off. To be honest, I tend to see these things and mute certain words and stuff. It's the best way around it. But I can understand why others don't and why others get drawn into it. Shifo says, don't you think FFP should be binned if it's not done properly? Why is it there? Also, who has the decision, FIFA or UEFA? I'm not sure actually who has the final. I mean, FIFA obviously is over UEFA, but I don't know if FIFA allow UEFA to have their own procedure on FFP. I'm not sure. That's a good question actually. Should it be binned? No. Does it need a better structure to it? Yes. I think it should. But binning it, no. I just think that there's a better way of working it that I'd like to see. In terms of just making it, the way City got round it wasn't great, was it? And that's what kind of made people go, oh, it's dead. Coy says, predictions for Spurs Newcastle. It's on the screen, mate, to the left of me, and you won't like it. Danny Mac. Alright, James, top stream, mate. What makes you think Southampton beat Leeds? No JWP, no Adams, not scoring goals. I'm biased as a Leeds fan, but think we get a result today. It's a very fair comment, mate, and of course you could go to Southampton and win today. But I look at it and go, no Ayling, no Rafinha in my opinion, no Bamford, possibly no Calvin Phillips. I mean, if that's your team without them four, it's not great, mate. So that's why I hope for your sake that obviously Phillips plays, and obviously I hope Rafinha plays. But I'd have serious concerns if Phillips is out. Andreas Niku, morning James. Hope you're well, mate. Good luck this week. Hopefully 3 points for the mighty Spurs. I'm not holding my breath, mate. That Sun news last night, it bothered me more than any injury news for ages. I think it was just the timing of it. Friday night, late, weekends coming. It really, really pissed me off. And obviously wish Sonny and Brian a speedy recovery and stuff. It's just disappointing, man. It's like, it does feel for us like these international breaks are killing us. Everybody has their issues off internationals. It was a bad one to lose. And to be honest, it wasn't so much this week. It was knowing he's going to miss West Ham as well. I've got my ticket for the game next week. It's like, oh, fuck's sake. Yeah, disappointed. Really bothered me. And normally I see injury news and it's just, there's nothing you can do about it. It bothered me last night. Jonathan says, James, you're going into London with your missus to a top-notch restaurant. That's never happened, mate. What type of restaurant you going to and what you having? McDonald's, Big Mac meal, mate. Jeremy, George K, good luck, everyone. Patrick Lawson, which team will be the next City? Newcastle? West Ham. Jeremy, George K, how many points are you aiming for this week? More than everybody else. I don't know. See, that I don't really get all that kind of stuff. I actually say, I'm aiming for, generally for me, 65 points, right? 65 points, I'd say. But if I get 40 and the average is 20, I'm happy, right? Flower Pot Man, in the coming years, do you see Prem teams having 5 places in the Champions League? If not, who do you see dropping out the top 4 in the coming years, top man? I covered this on one of the streams last week. I actually see it becoming 6 teams. I see it becoming 6 teams. And I see Tottenham and Arsenal, like they used to, fighting it out for 6th. Shonk says, bought in De Bruyne and Hwang in for Ronaldo for Traore. Thoughts? My thoughts are I'm not covering FPL now, but thanks, mate. Good luck. Nick Giordano, I went James over Chilwell. Yeah. Okay, I'm not bothering with that FPL stuff now. Jeremy, thoughts on Ollie Solskjaer as a manager? Probably never going to win the Premier League title. But every time he's in trouble, they tend to have good results and get out of it, don't they? I've covered Solskjaer to death so many times over. Emmy LFC, is it updating for you guys? FPL family, morning mate, just jumping on to say love you and have a good game week. Love you too, mate. Hope all's well. Love to Sam and the kids. Just seen Jazz, what are the chance of Norwich staying up? Good luck for the game week. Unlikely. Adele Walker, what team you support? Hello Adele, nice to meet you. I'm a Tottenham fan for my sins. Sam Robertson, I should bring the cap back, shouldn't I? Sam Robertson, aim for 69 points. Can't out him, but average won't be as low as 20. Yeah, I know that, mate. Come on. I reckon we could have a high average this week. Relic returns to 69, dude. Yeah, listen, I'm married. I don't aim for that anymore. Right, guys, we'll leave it there. Thanks very much. As said, if you want to support our content on Patreon, please do. Be much appreciated. Do actually want to support the content, not because we're going to be a better FPL manager, because you probably won't. I hope all of you have a great weekend. I hope your arrows are green. We will be back with our Game Week 8 review podcast on Monday. Remember, deadline next week is Friday, so deadline stream will be 5:30 p.m. UK time next Friday. Have a great weekend and a great week, everyone. Take care. Ciao for now.